Welcome, come one, come all. Hey, everybody. Welcome on into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports all the time. I'm Sports Director Trayvon Miles.
That's right, and I'm Brandon Bossert. We've got you covered for the next half hour with wall-to-wall local sports coverage right here on DSI.
That's exactly right. Welcome on into another episode of DSI. Of course, Brandon, nice to see you again. It's
nice
always
to see you too,
good
Trey.
To be back on the greatest show in America. Can you agree?
That's right, Trey. The greatest sports show in America.
Yeah.
You got it right.
I should also note that we have a special friend here today, Ulysses Garcia,
on
the eve of his birthday coming up, right?
Yeah, 13 days.
13 days. All right, let's get right into it before we get into the shenanigans. Last week, we reported that the DIAA made the decision to suspend fall sports. Well, that decision or any decision by the DIAA needed to be approved by the Department of Education. That took place today by a 5-2 vote. The plan calls for a condensed schedule with 6 weeks of regular season and 2-week postseasons. The schedule can still be altered.
That's right, and the meeting did begin with public comment, and a number of parents raised mental health concerns for their young athletes who can't compete this fall, and they also questioned the decision while a number of youth tournaments and leagues are still taking place. But DIAA President Bradley Layfield answered those criticisms by reinforcing the fact that the body is education-based and that the education piece must come first. So DIAA now has the power to determine the dates of the sports seasons, and fall and wrestling continue to be up in the air, but they expect guidance from the Department of Public Health on those sports every 6 weeks coming up.
Yeah, Brandon, one of the funny things I thought about the meeting was that parents brought up that club teams are playing right now.
Right.
The word that I raised for that is liability. Parents must sign waivers and assume responsibilities if anything were to happen to their kid in club competition. For anyone saying the DIAA should do the same, that's not exactly how a smart, successful entity like the DIAA works. You know, God forbid something happened to just one kid, not a bunch of kids, just one kid while playing on a state field. There is way too much liability involved. And honestly, you know, I know the kids want to play, but, you know, especially for the DIAA, it's simply not worth it.
Right. Now, the decision has been made, but I think it is important to hear out these parents who they have these young athletes and they are concerned about their mental health. I think there is something to be said about athletes' mental health in this state these next few months, not having these sports. You know, that's an entire part of your life that's taken away from you. You have a lot of structure when it comes to these sports. You're on these teams, you're around your teammates, your coaches, you have eyes on you after school. But now you don't have school and you don't have after-school activities. So there is a lot to be said about the mental health aspect. But like Bradley Layfield said, they are education first. And without the education, how can we think about extracurricular activities? Yeah. And there's also the logistical problem with all of this and the fact that a lot of athletic directors have signed on to the idea of moving the fall sports over to the spring as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that more parents were concerned about was canceling right now. And I've seen that with colleges as well. Why are we canceling so early?
Right.
Well, I said it on DSI maybe a month or so ago. There has to be preparation for this. So kids have to train, you know, so those dates aren't moving. If they aren't moving, kids are getting less time to train. You're getting less time to prepare and assign transportation and all of that type of stuff.
Right.
So that is why the DIAA is making the decision. And, you know, honestly, you know, we talked about it before. You know, it was going to be a tough decision, but they at least made a decision.
Yeah,
you have to live with the decision that you make, but kudos to them for making a decision.
That's right.
All right, with training camps opening up and teams beginning to ramp up activities in the NFL, it appears right now, anyway, that there will be a professional football season.
Hey, that's something to cheer about right there.
Yes,
At least we have professional football.
Yeah, but with COVID-19 still alive in these various states, teams are now axing the opportunity for fans to enter games. The latest franchise to do so hails from our nation's capital. The Washington football team put out a memo on Thursday detailing the fact that they would not be hosting fans this year, noting the health and safety of fans and employees as a primary reason.
That's right, and the team noted the decision will be reevaluated if the situation surrounding the pandemic improves over the course of the season.
So, Brandon, what do we think of Washington's decision? I mean, obviously this is, in some circles, the right way to go, but what do we think about it?
Well, is it really a surprise to me?
No.
I don't think so. We've seen some teams like Green Bay, the Las Vegas Raiders already say no fans at their games. The Saints will be playing without fans in their first game as well. And teams like the Eagles, the Jets, the Giants, they won't have fans at all because of their local laws and regulations. But there are plenty of other teams who are saying they expect 20 to 25% capacity this fall. But in reality, I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah.
What's tailgating going to look
break.
like at those games? Will those fans remain socially distant in the stands? Can you expect that with fans out there tailgating, coming into the games, having a few drinks?
No.
I mean, I think Washington is taking the safe route here.
Yeah, I don't think many people are showing up anyway to FedEx Field. That's just a joke for Julian. But in all
right, a little needling
seriousness,
there.
I do think this is the right decision. The memo did say the team would monitor the situation. So I think if numbers begin to go down in the D.C. and PG County area, do not underestimate the power of $1.
Definitely.
They will have people in the stands when it is safe to do so. So I think the Washington football team made the right decision. Interesting to see what other teams will do. For instance, Jerry Jones in Big D says they're not having any kind of restrictions. We are going to load it up with that stadium holds 100,000 fans. I think it's no way we see something like that.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Like you said, the power of $1. We've already seen it in Washington so far this year. We're going to see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
And if anybody knows about $1, it's Jerry Jones.
That's right.
All right, moving on to a heartwarming story from right here on the Eastern Shore. The game of golf, Brandon, you can attest to this, can be very frustrating, tedious, stressful, among other things we could say, to newcomers who choose to indulge.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated out there on the links, but for one young player from Salisbury, the game has come natural and just may be a staple in his foreseeable future. Check it out.
John Milligan Jr. could be on his way to stardom. An incoming 8th grader at Salisbury Middle, he began golfing just a few short years ago when his dad picked up the sport.
Well, I started about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, just playing with some guys from work. And then as I kept going out, they just wanted to come ride and, drive the cart around. And I think it just progressively, moved up from there.
I like that it's fun and enjoyable, relaxing, and it's a game you can play forever.
And with his early success, Milligan Jr. may have a chance to play forever. Last year, in his first season playing in Wicomico-Reckin Park's Junior Golf League, he captured the 11U championship. This year, he finished with a record of 8 wins and 1 tie. Now that you're actually winning, is there any kind of pressure associated with it?
No, not really. I don't think about that. I just try to have fun.
It's been awesome just seeing the progression, actually seeing the fruits of your labor, and to see him hit a drive that's just straight and long, it's just, I'm probably more happier than he is.
But there is no time to rest on your success in this family. Waiting in the wings is John Jr.'s 7-year-old brother Nate, whom both junior and senior also foresee a bright future for.
The little one picked it up with us too, and he's stroking the ball too. I mean, I gotta be honest.
I think when he reaches my age, he might hit a little further than I'd hit at this age. He's doing good.
Great story there, Trey. And John Jr. also says that the additional support from his family and close friends also motivates him. He's currently participating in Delaware's Junior PGA Tour. And one more thing, having a little brother like that can really drive the bigger brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing John told me was that he wishes that he got a golf club in his hand when Nate did. Nate's 7 years old. John, I think, got the golf club in his hand at age 10. So we might see a sibling rivalry here in the coming future.
Something
but an
to watch.
Awesome story, and I had a great time with that family whom I've known for a very long time. All right, that's going to do it for the A block. We're taking a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to Delmar. One of the best football players to ever come out of D-Town is front and center this week on After the Whistle. That and more when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
This is Coach McCormick from North Carolina High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.